Hi everybody, I hope you are all safe and happy. Today we are going to be doing some cooking together. We are going to be making some chocolate fudge earthquake cookies. Now these are called earthquake cookies because if you look at the top of them, they have cracks over the top surface, just like the ground sometimes does when there's been an earthquake due to the waves. Now the first and most important step of any cooking is to wash your hands before you start. So it's really important that you use an antibacterial soap and some warm water. You need to rub your hands together, making sure that you get the palms, the backs, between the fingers and under the nails nice and clean so that we do not spread any germs when we are cooking our food. So to make the cookies we are going to need 200 grams of plain flour, 200 grams of caster sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 pinch of salt, 57 grams of butter, 2 eggs, 57 grams of dark chocolate and 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. Now the first step of our recipe is we are going to melt our chocolate and our butter together. The easiest way to do this, and the way that I've done it, is to cut your butter up into small cubes and then to break your chocolate into the squares so that there is not too much to break down when it is melting. For the first set of melting, you are going to put your chocolate and butter mix in the microwave for 30 seconds, making sure that you stay and pay attention to it so it doesn't start to burn. If it does, you just take it out early. So you're going to microwave it for 30 seconds and then take it out and give it a good mix to mix together all of the melted butter and melted chocolate. Sometimes the first 30 seconds isn't quite long enough, so mix it together as well as you can, and if it needs to go in for a little bit longer, we're going to put it back into the microwave for 20 seconds and do the same thing. Mix it, mix it, mix it. And if it needs a little bit longer, then we put it in for another 20 seconds and keep mixing it until it is all nice and smooth and silky. Now into a big mixing bowl, we are going to sift our 200 grams of caster sugar and our 200 grams of plain flour. Now it's important that we use caster sugar rather than granulated sugar, as it is a little bit finer so you don't get any crunchy bits of sugar inside the cookies, which wouldn't be quite so nice. And it's also important that you sieve your mixture to make sure there are no lumps of flour that could lead to lumps of flour in your cookies, which again wouldn't taste so great. Once we have sifted together our sugar and our flour, we are going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder and a small pinch of salt. And I've just put my salt onto the teaspoon here so you can see how much I'm putting in. Now we're going to give the dry mixture a good mix to make sure that it's all nicely incorporated and ready for us to add our wet ingredients. So now you're going to take your 2 eggs and you're going to crack them into a separate container. I've just used a glass, but you can use a bowl or a mug or anything that you've got that you can put your eggs in. I'm going to crack the 2 eggs and I'm going to take a fork and mix them together so that the yolk is mixed in well with the white. I'm then going to add the egg mix into the dry mixture and I'm going to give it a really good stir. Now this takes a long time, so I'm going to speed this bit up and you will see how it will come together from a liquid and a powder to a nice thick dough. Once you have formed a nice thick dough, we are going to take our chocolate and butter mix. Now I'm going to give it a quick mix before I put it in to make sure that there are no lumps in there. And then I'm going to pour it into our dough mixture, making sure that every little bit of chocolate comes out of the bowl, because trust me, you need the chocolate. It tastes amazing. Now again, you need to mix this nice and well to make it into a nice smooth creamy dough. This again takes a little bit of time, so I'm going to speed it up, and you will see how it turns from a chocolatey buttery mix and some dough into a nice creamy chocolatey dough. Now once our chocolate dough is all mixed up and nice and smooth, we are going to take some vanilla extract, and you're going to add 1 teaspoon to the mix. And again, you're going to mix it really nice and well to make sure that it's nice and smooth and everything is even in the mixture. And I am going to speed it up again because it does take a little bit of time. Now that my chocolate dough is all mixed up and nice and even, I'm going to put it into the fridge for 20 minutes to rest. Once I've done this, I'm going to preheat my oven to 180 degrees. It might be a good idea to get an adult to help you with this, just to make sure that you put it on the right temperature, and once the oven is hot, we don't want you to burn yourself, so be nice and careful. So for this next step, you're going to need some icing sugar or powdered sugar and some cooking spray. If you don't have any cooking spray, then cooking oil will be just fine. Now I'm going to spray my baking trays with some cooking spray. This is to make sure that once we put the cookies on there for them to go in the oven, they don't get stuck to the baking tray. I'm now going to take my icing sugar and sift it into a bowl, and it's important to make sure you sift it so you don't get any lumps of icing sugar. If you find that you have a few little bits of icing sugar that sort of create balls in the bottom of your sieve and you can't quite get them through, then what I've done is I've taken a spoon and I'm using the back of the spoon to gently press them and push them through the sieve. So now that the dough has been in the fridge for 20 minutes, we're going to take it out and start making our cookies. So we're going to take a pinchful of cookie dough, roll it in our hands, and then put it into the icing sugar. We're going to roll it in the icing sugar, and then once I've done that and not dropped it, I'm going to put it back in my hand and roll it into a ball again so it keeps its shape. Then you're going to put it nice and carefully on your baking tray, making sure you leave space between them so they've got space to spread in the oven, and do this until you have used up all of your cookie mixture. Now it is time for our cookies to go into the oven. So I'm using an oven glove, which everyone should use when they put things in the oven and take them out to make sure you don't burn yourself. And it might be a good idea to ask an adult to do this bit for you. I'm going to set a timer for 9 minutes, and then I'm going to take my cookies out of the oven. So now I'm using my oven glove again to take the cookies out of the oven and put the baking tray somewhere on a heat-proof surface. So I'm putting them on top of my hob, just to sit and cool for a bit before taking the cookies off of the baking trays. And there we have our delicious chocolate fudge earthquake cookies. I'm going to have mine with a nice glass of milk, and I like to dip my cookies in the milk. I'm just showing you me breaking the cookies so you can see how soft and gooey and lovely they are in the centre. If you do make these cookies, then take some photos and send them to your teachers so that we can see how yours look and see how many cracks you managed to get in the surface of your cookies. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I really look forward to hopefully seeing you all again very soon.